good content video for you guys. We're talking about the whole home audio. This is the Soundavo WS66i. It's the new upgraded model of the Monoprice whole home audio amplifier, which is probably arguably one of the most popular whole home audio amplifiers on the market. But I get a lot of questions about these every week, and a question that kind of pops up pretty regularly is homeowners that might have moved into a house where the previous owner has taken the amplifier with them. So now they're left with just wires coming out of the wall, and they are looking for an amplifier to buy so that way they can have their whole home audio working. Or somebody that already has a system that's maybe older and they're just looking to upgrade it to something better. And so came across an interesting problem, which is that a lot of these systems, these older systems or systems that aren't using these digital type keypads, which I would say this is definitely the way to go now if you're putting in a system. But a lot of those older systems, they're using rotary volume knobs like what I've got here. This is just a slider version. So but a lot of these older systems, this is what they're using. And so people, they move into a house where there is no amplifier, they just see a bunch of wires and they have no idea what's going on. So I get a lot of questions about this and people asking, how can this system work with that? And what I typically try to recommend is that I would recommend, if you can, use, get rid of these and use the digital volume controls, if you can. I would say a lot of people do, but there's also people that they can't deal with that. They don't know how to do it, or it's a lot of work. They want to know the big question: can I use these rotary or slider, older style? These are analog. These are digital. Can I use these analog controls that I already have in my house with this amplifier, this whole home audio amplifier? And the answer is yes, you can, and I will show you that today how we have it hooked up. First of all, if you're considering swapping out these, if you're considering swapping out and using the digital style, this is what you're going to have in the wall. And so let me explain what you have going on here first, and how you can bypass this if you're going to use those. So typically these volume controls, they have an input side and an output side, and the way they work is when you turn the dial or you slide it, it changes the resistance and it lets music pass through. So right now there's music playing, and when I turn it off, turn the knob off or push this all the way down, it's cutting the music. So if you're looking at the wires in your wall and you're wondering what's going on, typically on your input side, so in this scenario I've got my input side right here. This is coming from the amplifier into the knob. Typically this would be what appears like one cable with four conductors coming out. So this would be called 4-conductor, 4-pair wire, speaker wire. Because typically what installers would do is when they're running this type of system, from the amplifier location, so from here, it's easier to pull one cable, and one cable that has all 4 pair in it, all 4 wires, than it is to pull individual ones like what I have here. This is just demonstration, but I'm just explaining how you normally would have it. So normally this would be a 4-pair wire, and then coming out of it would be just standard 2-pair wire, because these go to each speaker as I have here on the floor. So if you're seeing 4-pair wire, that's definitely what you have. So how you can bypass this if you're going to get rid of this is, we know that we've got this coming from the amplifier and this going to the speaker. So in this type of a system with these Monoprice or the Dayton Audio or this new upgraded model, the Soundavo WS66i, check the link in the description. I'll have a coupon code where you can get a good discount on these. But typically from the amplifier, these systems are set up to where they automatically should home run or go from the amplifier to the speaker, because they're utilizing digital volume controls. So we don't have this kind of this hop here. So you don't have this hop here where we're having this volume control in the middle. So they go directly to the speaker. So knowing that, if you're going to get rid of this, all you have to do is disconnect your input side and your output side. And on here it tells you which one is the left and which one's the right. So just disconnect the left side first and just simply connect together the positive and the positive and the negative and the negative. Splice it together. Do that with your right speaker, and then what you've just done is spliced it together, so now you have a direct path from the amplifier to here, which then goes to your speaker. So you're basically bypassing this. Now you have a direct home run from the amp to the speaker. Then you can get rid of this. So that's how you would do that if you're going to get rid of this. But if you want to still use this, and you're not going to use these, how you would do that is that this is what's controlling the volume, not the amplifier. So you would want to turn on this amplifier, you'd want to turn on every zone and leave it on all the time. And you would want to turn the volume on every zone to maximum volume. Or if that makes it too sensitive, then you can turn this down some. But the reason why you would turn this to maximum volume is because that's letting this, when you turn this to maximum volume, that means you're getting the maximum volume out of the amp. If I only left this zone on, say, volume 9, because this is a digital type system, that means the amplifier is already only outputting, a level 9 volume. So when this is at max volume, I would only be getting a max of 9. So that's why I say have this on maximum volume. But if that makes your volume control too touchy, then just turn this down a little bit. But you'll want to keep all your zones on. That way, when you start playing music, all you have to do is go to your zone and flip it up. And now you can turn it off. So that's how you could use this. Now, that's pretty much it, but there's just a couple caveats with that. So yeah, you can still use all the sources and all that stuff. The thing with these digital controls is you can control and turn the sources, change the sources. This is a 6 source input. That means that any of the 6 zones, they can tune to any of the 6 sources. Well, obviously you can't change a source with this volume control. So that means that if you're not going to install these, so that means you're not even going to have any keypads, digital keypads plugged in. To change the source, you would just have to use the smartphone app that is free that controls the Soundavo system. So you'd kind of be doing like a hybrid. If you need to change the source on a particular zone, you'd be using the smartphone app. And likewise, if you were using the smartphone app, you could still use the smartphone app to change the volume, because if I turn this up, and I'll use the keypad, but this is still simulating the smartphone app. The smartphone app is doing the same thing that this is doing. So see, you could use the smartphone app still and have this. So you kind of have a hybrid system going on, and you can still fully control your system. So hopefully you guys found this video useful. That's how you would still use the existing volume controls. And yeah, hope you guys liked it. If you guys like my videos, like and subscribe. Check the description. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll try to answer you guys. Thanks.